You have
Get it if I need it.
your little candle, and if you have a shawl or something and you want to wrap it around you for comfort, that's good too. Okay, so tonight we're going to do Neurographica. I made it into an intercessory prayer mode. So it's a bit different than the traditional Neurographica, which you may not have heard of either. So we're going to
Never,
start brand
never
new.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, do you have your white piece of paper, a little sturdy piece of paper
Yes.
that can get inside of an envelope if you need to, if you'd like to?
Yes, I do.
Um, if you'd like to mail it to someone afterward. And any kind of, you need two markers, a
Yeah.
fat one and a thin one. Usually black Sharpies are good. I picked green ones because I gave my black ones to mom.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you need something to color it in with afterward. Markers,
Uh,
colored pencils, color sticks, watercolor, whatever you choose.
Okay.
You need something in the last part to color it in.
Okay.
Is everybody ready with those goodies, or do you need a minute to collect them?
I'm ready. It's not the only.
I'm ready.
Deborah, do you have what you need or able to grab it?
You two ladies look really good today. I love your hair, both Grace and Grace and Wanda.
Thank you.
Um,
Let me take a deep breath together.
we will. Today, I just wanted to introduce you to, there's a little booklet that came out several years ago from the United Church of Christ Still Speaking Writers Group called Bless.
Okay.
And it's got some cool, short, really short poems about dailiness.
Okay.
And I thought a couple of them went well with today, so I was going to start just by reading the foreword. Then we're going to do our prayer, our breath practice with one of them, and then I'll end with a different one. I may throw one in the middle just for good measure, too. So let me read the foreword real quick. Oh, by the way, just for a little intro, how many of you read poetry? Do you have a favorite poet that you read right now?
You are.
I,
Me? Thank you.
Uh,
I love poetry, but I have a podcast that's a part of the oh God, Krista Tippett, the whole her Krista Tippett.
NPR,
Uh,
the
yeah,
yeah,
of course now I can't remember it. But it's a monk from Ireland, very Patrick O'Tuma, and he has one a week, and he reads it, and then he talks about it. And I with poetry so often I say yes, 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 but I could never explain why. And he goes into the background of it and explains some of it, and then, yeah, that's why. So it's really, really helpful. And so I listen to that religiously. It's sometimes really strange poems, but they
yeah.
seem to make sense after. So,
But he's really good. He's one of the good ones.
yeah, yeah.
Deborah, how about you?
And I'm sorry, I have a favorite
Oh, I'm
poem.
sorry.
I pray the thank you God for all this amazing E. Cummings.
Yes.
That is a prayer in the poem. Let me just check with Roger. Go on talking.
Go ahead, Deborah.
uh, Christian Century every month that they always include quite a number. And then I have two books by Mary, and I'm not coming up with her last name. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I do. Let me go grab it. It'll take me half a second.
Yeah.
I bet you I know who it is. Mary Oliver?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's who I was talking about.
Yes.
She's amazing.
She is. She's very strong on nature background.
Yes. Yes.
But where she ends up with her contemplating is so amazing. I'll have to let Mom read these sometimes. Sometime too. She's good. I was thinking about using one of hers for, using one of hers for next week. I know Mom reads little bits of poetry in and out of the magazines that she reads, and little bits of things that I give her. I said, "Did you read this yet?" I gave her a longer book that I want to send Gabby. Now she's not here to hear it, but I want to send it to her. The name of it was, do you remember the name of it, Mom? Right here, Anne Quinlan, A Short Guide to a Happy Life, called it, from Anne Quinlan. Mom said it's full of common sense, but the way she words it is just beautiful and brilliant. And it's full of pictures and things too, black and white. It's very short read, and very quick and very sweet. Anyway, okay, so the foreword to this from Quinn Caldwell, the Still Speaking Writers Group, is, while I learned to bless in the church, it works even better beyond the walls of the church. This little booklet is designed to help you take the art of blessing out where it belongs, your life. Blessing is one of the most basic forms of prayer. In fact, it is one of the first forms many of us learn. God bless, insert the name of whomever you love here. As we grow older, we learn that blessings are not just for the good, but for the bad, because all blessings are simply this: a request that God enter a situation or fall upon a thing and bring God's power to it. Can you think of anything you might encounter in your day that doesn't need that? So herewith, some blessings for your life. The traditional posture for words like this is either back straight, arms raised, palms toward the thing to be blessed, or palms directly on the blessee, head bent over. But you can say them any way you want, loud or soft, these exact words, or just the ideas. And don't stop here. Make up your own, or whatever you face. For whatever you face, the world needs as much blessing as it can get. And we all completely agree with that. It's called For the Stranger on the Street. I'm just going to give us a minute to take our deep breaths, sink from our head to our heart, and the place where we and God communicate the most, where we can open our ears and just rest in God's presence. And just stay there for a moment and fully arrive. I'm going to encourage you to stay in this space. The stranger on the street. I don't know that lady, God, and I probably never will. I don't know what's on her mind or what she has to do. I don't know what petty quarrel or mighty battle she's in the middle of fighting. What delights she's anticipating, or graces she's planning, or sins she's relishing. Nevertheless, make her sufficient to this day. Give her enough strength for her work and some left over to lend. Enough bravery for her fears and a little to share. enough love for her cup and some to overflow. Make her today better than her yesterday was, and give her strength to get her to tomorrow. Bless her, God. And if by chance I'm to be her blessing, then make me bold. Amen. Yeah, we'll hold Gabby and Roger in our prayers this week. Are there any questions or comments on last week's practice, the examen? I don't know, Deborah, if you got a chance to look at it online or not. You're probably very busy. It'll be online for a long time, so if you ever need it. Mom, what about you?
That we talked about last week. About taking time to show others love. Most of the time you're so busy and we're not really doing what we're supposed to be doing, is just taking time for somebody else.
I know for some of us and I'm thinking about you in this, that it comes naturally. It's something you do all the time and you don't even realize it. So I wouldn't be too hard on yourself for that, because there's a very good chance that you're already doing at least part of what the intention of the practice is. The examen helped us look over our day and divide it into, like, as you're reliving the day, you're kind of reliving it with God sitting next to you as your big brother and saying, who showed love to me today? And then offer thanks. Where did I show love today? And offer more love. And where did I withhold love today? And ask for grace to keep going. And who in my day tomorrow needs the extra grace and love that I might be able to offer. So that's kind of, it's my take on the examen that I use most often. So today we're going to investigate Neurographica, which, if you picture the nerves in the brain, you see a lot of thin and thick lines in the general graphic of it. And you see a lot of connections between those lines where the synapse is kind of like fire. And that's a little bit about what this, you're going to kind of make a map like that. And I'll show you in a minute how to do that. It's supposed to stimulate the one side of your brain while you're thinking about something else. Basically, the practice comes from, and I'm not a licensed practitioner of this, Piskarev in Russia formed this, and he called it Neurographica. And there are websites where you can go to get the whole practice. They even sell licenses so you can, do all that kind of thing. He is a licensed psychologist, and he was into neuroplasticity, which means the youthfulness of our brain as we age. And a lot of people have made it into an art form. Instead, I've made it into a prayer form. And I kind of call it Scribble Prayers because they kind of work out to be Scribble Prayers. So basically, as I settle into it, I start the same way I started now. Light a candle, take some deep breath, get into my intention space, and I ask God for a moment or two, and we'll start this way too. I'll ask God for a moment or two of, who would you like me to be praying for right now? What name comes to your mind and your heart? Who really needs it? And that's where I'll start. So, and you stay with the feelings that you want this person to experience. What is their situation? And you can either do it in pencil or you can do it with your small marker across your paper. I want you to write somewhere on there, either tiny or big, printed or in script. Script sometimes works the best. The name of that person or situation for which you want to pray. So that's how we're going to start. We're going to take a few deep breaths. I'm going to give you like a minute or two to come up with the name that you want to put on your paper. So we'll just start with that for a moment. Did you write down anything? Deborah, did you find something to write down?
Wrote down my friend Tony. I haven't heard from her for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The next part of the Neurographica is to make use your fat marker. And you're going to make lines on the paper. Now I'm going to show you my art book here. Do it right over top of what you wrote. So, well, I might as well just show you. I had a meeting today with the group, and mine says C of P because that's the initials I have for the group. And there's 5 of us or 6 of us together. So we pray for each other, and we were in prayer for each other today. So that's what I'm gonna put on. So what you do, the idea is to start on one side of the paper and just make a scribble. Make a fat line. You start going on and off of the paper in lots of different ways. Just all over. Make sure your lines don't start and don't stop. They just keep going all over the paper. They can do small squiggles, big squiggles, circles, squares. You just need to continue off the page. It doesn't have to look like anything. Don't make it look like anything intentional. Okay. While you're doing this, sometimes it helps to tape the paper down to the edge of something. While you do this, think about that person or those persons at their happiest. Visualize them at their happiest, healthiest self. If it's a country, if you visited that country before, think of that, a joyful time that you had there or with the people. Visualize that person or group of people as you move the pen around the page. Sometimes if you have a bigger page, you can push a penny around your paper with the pen if you're not sure how the lines work. Mine kind of look like this now. You can start with the penny and push the pen. If you end up feeling like you make the same lines all the time, you can push a penny or a dime around your page with the fat marker. And come back to center and just take another few deep cleansing breaths as you remember that person in their happiest self. This will take a little more time to do, this next step. And as you're doing this, I'll tell you what you're doing in a second, but call to mind the connections that you have with this person, place, or issue. Ask Spirit to bring to mind things that you'd like to be brought to mind about this and what you're praying for them. I really believe that the Spirit connects us in quantum ways. Connects us like the nerves connect. We're not sure how it works, but we know it works. And our prayers and our thoughts and the connections we have with these people, they're there. We don't have to know how prayer works. It just does. So as you do this part of it, now what we're going to do is everywhere there's a connection, and you decide, we're not, see how it's pointed in? We're going to round off those corners and fill them in, just like the nerves are connected. You can either fill in just round off your corners. I'm hoping this comes through.
Color, Wanda?
What?
Are we using-
With the thinner marker. I like to use the thinner marker for it. And I just round off those corners, make them smooth. As I'm thinking about God smoothing the bumps in this person's life, smoothing the problems down. Actually, I should be doing this for Gabby right now. I'm going to start over again and do one for Gabby instead. But as you do this, you can usually put some music on. You probably won't recognize the name that you've incorporated into it, and that's okay, because you and God know that that name is there, and that's for whom you are thinking. Depending on how complicated and large or small your drawing is, it may take you a while to do all the connections all around the page. Not finished, are you, Mom?
Yeah.
Already? Didn't do too many lines. Okay.
Maybe I didn't do it right. Show me yours.
I'm filling in each of the connection points and rounding them off instead of a sharp corner. Just rounding them off.
I have a lot of circles.
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't explain it enough.
This is all new to me.
It's of course, it's like a web. Everything intersects with each other. So, do your circles intersect with each other? Do you have some random lines going in and out of your page? There's no right or wrong way to do it, so our intention is to think and pray for this person, place, or thing as we're coloring. Sometimes it just doesn't seem like it's enough just to say the person's name in prayer or say, God, please be with this person. Sometimes you don't know what to pray for. But you care so much about this person and what they're going through that it's like, how do you want me to pray for this, God? And this is a prayer without words. It's more about feeling. It's more about the intention of your heart rather than the words that come out of your mouth. Another way to pray an intention, an intercession for a group of people is to imagine them on a stage, gathered together on a stage. This is great when you have a long prayer list. And then shine the light of God's Holy Spirit on them as if it were a floodlight and just flood them with love and concern. God knows who they are. Deborah, do you have any favorite ways that you like to pray for people?
This, because I think too often we put too many words into our prayers, and then we are more concerned with crafting the prayer, making it sound acceptable to God or acceptable to other people who are hearing it, and or telling God information God doesn't already know. I think it's really sort of silly that we explain a lot of things to God. And then the other part about using words in prayer is we try to tell God what to do, what we want God to do. And I think all of those things can get in the way of hearing what God has to say to us.
Yes.
So this kind of prayer is very helpful, very useful, because it gets us away from those difficulties that people often have. And people say, I don't know how to pray. Well, they're trying to think of words that they don't think are appropriate, or they say prayer doesn't work, which means they've told God what they want, and if it hasn't turned out their way, so they think prayer doesn't have any use. So this is much better. I think this is. I never did this Neurographica before, but I have done other wordless prayers, and this I do appreciate. So thank you.
Of course. Mom, what's one of your favorite ways of praying for people?
Did you just ask me, or you asked your?
I asked Mom what one of
Okay.
her favorite ways might be.
I think I told you last week the first thing you should pray in the morning is help. I just pray what comes into my head. And people that come into my head. I know there's a prayer list, and I pray for them. I pray for my family, and you just feel so much better after you do it.
And it's praying for our world right now and the situations that we're in. We don't know the answers any more than most of those politicians do. And, you know, we pray for the world leaders and for their wisdom and love, and that they're guided by greater hands than their own and greater wisdom than their own. When we feel helpless, the first place we go is to God, because a lot of times, at least in world situations, we are helpless. And some of our anxiety comes from our helplessness to do anything about the situation or for the person that we care so much about. And I think praying in some way, wordlessly anyway, it's a way to offer your feelings as prayer rather than words. And I believe it's the intent of our heart that God looks at. You know, like Deborah was saying, the words can be meaningless. It's the intent of our heart, the love that comes through us and from us that guides our praying. So if I don't know, quote unquote, how to pray, I often jump to this, because then it's so comforting too, if you're praying for a person, to think about the wonderful times you've had together, or even the difficult times sometimes, and ask for God's intuition on what to do about them. I had a friend who ghosted me after a 20-year friendship, and I didn't know why, and it really hurt. So I think that was one of the original reasons I created this prayer, because I didn't know what else to do. And I just learned how to do this Neurographica stuff. And I thought, well, and it allowed me to express my feeling in color and put it all on the page for that person. And as God usually has it, this person called me and we caught up. No, it wasn't the same as our 20-year, almost sisters friendship, but it at least was a connection that we caught up, which was nice. And you might not be surprised, but sometimes you might be surprised that how God works, that often that person or that situation will come up again for you, and you'll have these intuitions or these coincidences, these God incidences about reconnecting with that person at a time. Between the next two steps, I usually take a little bit more time to inhale and sit back and say, God, I'm listening. What we're going to do now is beautify or enhance it. And this is when you can add other squiggles. You can make it look like something if you want to. You don't have to. we're about to get to the color phase and the journaling phase, but you can color in this phase if you want to. And I make sure that the words in the background don't show up anywhere anymore. This kind of looks like a nerve connections now in the brain. If you guys want to show yours at the end, that would be wonderful too. But you can't see that I wrote C of P in the background of this anymore. And you don't have to, because the intentions are embedded into it. So if you want to make other drawings on it with your background color, you can. Otherwise, you may take out your colors and enhance that and just dream a little. What would you wish for this person or the situation if everything was wonderful? If God's dream for the future could become reality in that person, place, or thing, what would it look like? And use those feelings of joy and thankfulness to splash onto the page now as your prayer. Oh, I did have it right, I think.
Wanda, I found a head with hair.
Did you? I often see rivers and forests in mine. For some reason, streams always flow through mine.
Getting blue hair.
And it doesn't have to look like anything when you're finished, other than an
I think we
abstract.
did this once before, and I found
Yes, I
something.
did it with my community of practice the other summer, and you were with us
Yeah.
that day.
Yes, I remember that.
I still count this as a contemplative practice because we're still listening in the midst of it. And oftentimes our bodies need something to do to keep busy while our spirits kind of take the driver's seat. This keeps our bodies active.
Just calm. It's a drink.
Say again, Deborah?
Just calm. And you think of children in preschool, coloring always calmed them down. That's one of the one of the teacher tricks to keep the children calm. And unfortunately, as adults, we don't often use something like this, and it's very helpful. I know when my son was sick, well, not when he was sick, just his whole life, he used to doodle a lot, and all over the place he would doodle. Whenever he had a pen or pencil in hand, he would draw, make different shapes, and he'd get in trouble in school for doodling, but it's what kept him calm and in his seat. And the teachers in junior high school didn't get that.
Mom used to bring all kinds of things along with us to church to keep us quiet in the pews.
Yes.
Our hands were busy, but our ears were still open and listening.
Sure.
Now she hates raisins.
Just because I was fed a lot of Cheerios and raisins in those pews, too.
I'm finding very funny things in here.
Wait till we do our imagination prayer next week.
Maybe I have too much.
No. It is what it is. There's no right way or wrong way to do it. That's what I love about these practices too.
Well, God has a sense of humor, you know.
Absolutely. He created us after all. He's got to have a sense of humor.
Nobody else would find a lady with a hairstyle. Crazy. I think the last time I saw ocean.
Remember. We'll talk about him in a minute. I know we're getting toward the end of our time, but I want to give us another 15 minutes or so because the end talking about the practice is just as integral as doing the practice itself. So I don't want to miss out on our journaling. I hope we can give it another 15 minutes here. Usually you can take as long as you want to on this, and you can give each color symbolism if you want to, or the reasons you picked up each color could be different. The reasons why you were put a lot of pressure in some places, or soft in other places, or dark and light, maybe. Significant. The things you see within the picture might be significant. Just ways in which God might be wanting to speak to you in this moment. When you think you're finished, take a few moments to, on a separate piece of paper, in your journal or something, and just take a minute or two to write your thoughts down about what the result of the practice is, any insights you had while you were doing the practice, how you were feeling about it, anything that sparkles and comes to mind that you'd like to share.
I can hear my mother say, "Stay in the lines."
But do you have to? I'm glad you and Dad never told me that I had to do that. Stay in lines. Well, at first you did when I was first learning how. I'm going to give you enough time, but just let me know when you're at a point where we can chat for a minute. In fact, I'm going to give you a moment more while I
It's hard for me to slow down and do this.
And I think that's the point of all the contemplative prayer. It's harder to listen than it is to speak. It's harder to sit still in God's presence. I have said in a few sermons that my dad is the one who taught me how to do contemplative prayer without even knowing it. We'd go camping, and I'd see him sitting on the lounge chair in the shade with his eyes closed, and Mom always accused him of sleeping. And Dad would say, "I'm not sleeping. I'm inspecting the inside of my eyelids," or "I'm meditating," or something like that. And when I was even smaller, I used to like to sit on Daddy's lap, and he would brush my hair. And then if I wanted to stay seated in his lap, I had to sit still. Because apparently at that time I had a bony butt. I don't now, for sure. But he said, if you want to sit in my lap, you have to stay still. And when I started picturing myself sitting in Jesus' lap, Jesus would say, "Stay still. If you want to stay here, just be still." And that's what opened up contemplative prayer for me. And it still feels like sitting in my Father's lap. Whenever you're ready, if
I
anyone.
think when Reverend Ozenbach was our minister, he once said, picture yourself sitting in the living room and looking over at Jesus because he's sitting there waiting for you. And I think of that in the morning when I'm taking my prayer time. Just, sitting there and looking over and picturing him there.
Mhm. So does anybody want to share their work? And I'm hoping you both do, but want to share your work and what impressions?
Unfinished project. But the person I was praying for is Choka. And Choka is a 10-year-old girl in the Sudan who I've never met, but I've seen a picture of her. And of course, I'm not finished coloring,
Right.
but when I thought of what colors for her, I picked green because I doubt that she gets to see a lot of green where she is. So there's green for life and blue for the skies. She still can see the blue skies. And there's one patch of red on there if you can see it. And that's because I gave her a dress, a brand new dress.
Very nice.
How old is she, Deborah?
10.
10.
10 years old. And then thinking about this method of prayer. Oh, this made me think about the stained glass windows also.
Me too.
And I think stained glass windows can be windows to see God, with the light coming through the various glass, and we can make our own stained glass windows like this as things that break open for us to see God. And the other thing I was thinking about is this was a prayer practice directed at praying for others, and I appreciate that very much, because often we just think about praying for ourselves, which we all need to do. But then I started thinking, if I did this practice praying for myself, what name would I put in the middle? And I'm not sure what name I would put in the middle. So that's where my thoughts were going.
Interesting. Mom, would you like to share yours?
How do I do this?
Just hold it up a little bit higher.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
you're
that's
an
good.
artist. Hold it up again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hold it up again. I'm not seeing it.
Oh, you
See
are?
the-
I can't see it. Do it again.
She
It's
has it up. Can you see her picture?
No. Is it in
Mom?
gallery? There, I see it.
Oh, good.
Okay, here's the hairstyle I was talking about.
Oh, yes. Blue hair.
And she has a face. Doesn't look like Tony at all, but it looks like a stained glass window when I'm done. Oh my. She even has a pom-pom on the end.
Like a Who from Whoville.
Yeah, right. Oh,
Well, she was a character. She is a character.
yes, she is, I hope. I don't know if her kids would have left me know if she died. I didn't get any of my mail back. I sent her a Valentine and, of course, a Christmas card, but I don't know. We used to work together when I was 16, I guess. No, I wasn't quite 16 because I couldn't use a sewing machine. I was a hand sewer. And when we ran out of work, she took me to her house until my sister was finished, and she would take me home. But we'd always find ice cream in the freezer. Oh, we had such a good time. I was in her wedding and she was in mine. It was such a nice friendship when we had it.
I find this practice, like we were saying, I find this practice really helpful when I don't know how to pray for something. And I like to try to stick to 3 colors because it just seems easier. Some of the things you were thinking about, I don't know, sometimes mine bleeds through because I'm heavy-handed with my markers sometimes, but you could always glue this onto another piece of paper, or you could write the letter on the inside and fold it in half and send it to them and say, you were on my thoughts and I drew this, I was praying for you, and maybe some of the things you were praying about if you want to. Or just send a, hi, hello, how are you? And mail it to them, which I think is really a practical thing to do with your creations sometimes. Because, I have little art books that I do certain things in. I do collage work and stuff. And this one is opening to flow. it's where I was putting pictures in about what flow means to me. And I'm going to go really fast through this, but different ways that I feel when I look at things about flow. And these are just collage work, but I'm going to incorporate more things into it. And what do you do with those books of things that you work on or do? They just sort of sit there. But this is a practical use, and that you can fold it up and mail it to somebody and bless them too. So it's a blessing that you're passing on. And I think it's extremely, in this day and age, is extremely important to bless others in some sort of way. Today I was blessed by two men opening the Wawa door for me to walk through, one on the way in, one on the way out. Things like that, just to recognize how much of a blessing that is, that people still do that once in a while for each other. I was blessed with laughter this morning in the group, and just everyone sharing how much we care for each other and pray for each other when we're not together. Things like that, it just makes you more aware of the blessings. And I think we need to share our blessings and give more blessings than we normally think about doing. This is a blessing. I want to share this one. When surfing the web, God, come now with power upon my mouse. Guide me through this wilderness. Do not let me wander aimlessly. Protect me from viruses. Deliver me from YouTube sensations and from my friends' pictures on Facebook. If I am about to turn on private browsing, make me pause and ask myself why. Don't let me look at websites you wouldn't delight in. And if an hour from now I glance at the clock and realize I've achieved nothing again, then forgive me and my mouse and put us to work. Amen.
I like the one last week. It says, take my face.
Oh, yes. The one that the team
Where to
wrote.
go? Let me look. Let me look. Oh, come on. Let me look at you so people can see you in me. I like that one last week.
And the one I want to leave us on today is For My Pillow. Before I read this, I just want to say next week I'm thinking of changing it up from the hymns and poems, because copyright, for one thing. If I'm going to put it up on YouTube, I can't put copyrightable material up on there. And I know I'm sharing some, but I'm sharing, the just little portions of these things. And the music I use in the background is from YouTube itself, and it has a copyright thing. So next week, I'd like to do an imagination walk. Now we're going to be doing it in the evening again, because I already have something in the morning planned to do. I think that's our North Penn Association meeting. So I don't want you to fall asleep when we're doing the imagination walk. You may want to have a cup of tea or a little bit of coffee before we start next week, because I don't want you to fall asleep in the middle of it. So anyway, all right. I'm going to leave you with this. For my pillow. Sweet pillow, I do not spend as much time with you as I would like. So let us make the most of these moments together before the cruel world parts us once more. May you be softer than Jacob's rock, but witness to dreams no less holy. Less prickly than baby Jesus' hay, but cradle ahead no less beloved. May your loft be high, your cool side up, your case springtime fresh, and may you bear this weary head safe through the night. Amen.
Cute.
So
We'll see you Sunday, I hope.
I hope to too, and I hope to be there in time for Easter practice.
Great, great. Okay. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.